Hey, I've been gone way too long, and I think it's time that I just update you on everything, and then we'll feel like we're like close friends again, and then we'll just keep the content coming. Everything can be mapped out from like the beginning of 2020. And I know, I feel like people don't want to hear about 2020 anymore. So I get it, but you just have to get through this first video to understand like where I'm at now. And then like all the fun stuff will come after that. Beginning of the year, I had just started dating this really cute guy, and this is him. I had the schedule of like exactly what I wanted. I had just bought my Mini Cooper, and I was just like loving life and making lots of girlfriends, and everything was going swimmingly until the pandemic, which I feel like is like everybody's thoughts. I went from having 16 classes per week to none within 24 hours. Yeah, I was like a little stressed to say the least, but like I said, I was dating Josue. We'd only been dating for like 3 months at this point, 2 or 3 months, and he says to me like, don't worry about the pandemic, you're not going to feel any effects of this. Okay, like, you know, just kind of trusting the universe, trusting this situation. Like he said like, oh, I'm gonna come and quarantine with you, and we'll buy all the groceries and everything, and like we'll just make it good. And it was fun, and like we had so much fun together. He is from Costa Rica, so at the time his dad was very sick. He had stomach cancer, and he found out that he was going to go into this surgery. And at the time, Sway had been here living in America for like over a year, and making music and just like making connections, doing what he needed to do because he's an artist. But with the recent news of his dad, he knew he had to go home and see his dad maybe for the last time. So he had asked me like, oh, will you come with me? And I was being a weirdo, and I was like, well, I'm also just thinking clearly. I think this was actually like a good move, but it just, yeah. So I said, you've been away from your family over a year. I think you should go and like spend time with your family for like a couple weeks, and then I'll follow you out there. So he was like, okay, fine. Makes his peace with it. And then he goes, and so this is in June. This is like June 21st, I think, that he went. And he gets there, and then within days, they shut the borders. So being an American, like, we're so privileged. We get to go wherever we want. We don't have to worry about visas. We don't have to worry about nothing because everyone just lets us like pretty much into their countries. It was a lot to be like, oh, I can't go to this place. And it was a good learning moment for me. My flight gets postponed. So then it goes from us not seeing each other for 2 weeks, then it's going to be a month. So we set the new date in July. My birthday's August 1st. So I really wanted to be there for my birthday and like be with him and everything. And then a month later, when the borders were supposed to open, they decided to extend it. So they were going to stay shut. And so once again, my flight is getting changed for the third time. And this time they gave me credit, and they were like, we're not going to change your flight because we just think that you should not go or something. I don't know. And I am like, I don't like being told what to do. Like, there's no way, there has to be a way around this. So I started researching, figuring out what countries can I get into, where can I go, and the only country I could get into was England. Sway ends up booking me an Airbnb in England for me to quarantine for 2 weeks, which was not enforced whatsoever, I will say. Anyway, so I was in England for like 3 weeks, and there was all these crazy steps I had to do. It was really hard to get there. I had to fly into London, and then I was supposed to fly from London to Manchester, and they canceled my flight, and I was just stuck in London. So I ended up getting a train, sitting in first class, which wasn't actually supposed to happen, but totally did happen. So in first class, you get a meal, you get like a drink, and it was like this whole luxury thing, and I just felt like my guides wanted me here. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I get to England. Feels like I have an extra little vacation. I just felt like a big shift was coming. Then at the end, you have to get a COVID test to enter from England to Costa Rica. And so I had to go and get tested, and it was so ridiculous. They act like you're like getting a COVID test there. I don't know, like you have the plague or something when you come through. Like, cause a lot of people have to get tested like all the time, and I've got to do the whole test on my own and put it in there. So hopefully I do it right. I just felt like it was a really dramatic thing. They had these like pincher things like that you pick trash up, and that's how they were like handing everything to us, and they don't want you to get out of your car, you just stay in there. It was like, I felt like there was something like wrong with me.
I was in the 3rd grade. People treated me like a criminal. Crazy because
you have to do it within 2 days of your travel. If it messes up, like you have to rebook your flight and stuff. So it's a pretty big deal. And my friend booked my appointment for me, and she actually put the wrong last name. Yeah, luckily I was fine because that's not what it says on my passport. Then I had to fly from England all the way to Costa Rica. When you get to Costa Rica, there's like all these paperwork. There was all these checkpoints. You have to show them QR codes through the airport. And this was like, a lot of things were still locked down during this time. This was before England had its real second lockdown. And if you guys have more questions about like what happened in that process or want to know more, just comment below and I'll try to answer those questions in another video, because I'm realizing that there's a lot of things I have to answer in all these videos. Anyways, so I finally make it into Costa Rica. I'm now living in Coronado with Sway and his mom, and his dad ends up going to the surgery, and they end up removing a tumor the size of a golf ball from his stomach. Now he's had a full recovery since then. There's been a lot that's happened in that process. So that was a solid like maybe 9 months ago. In the summertime, and it was amazing because we got to spend time with his parents, and we would stay at their house during the week, and then every weekend we would go on these adventures, epic places all around Costa Rica, and I got to really see like so much of it. And then in November, actually it was the night of the 2020 elections, we felt that that was a really good day to dive into some psilocybin medicine. Well, I created a little light beam as I was recording this. That was like on the 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Yeah, now we're like 7 months later, and I'm pregnant. Originally, when I found out I was pregnant, it was like, oh my God. And I'm gonna do another video with how I felt about that and what happened with that story, because I think it's a hilarious story, as all my adventures seem to be very hilarious, because I like to make that's how I like to live life. Comedy and laughter is the best medicine. And I found myself pregnant in Costa Rica with a man who is an amazing man. I want to do another video on how me and Sway met, because that was really cool too. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like jump in and be like, that's how I got to Costa Rica. So then I was living in Costa Rica for 4 months. Because of finding out that I was pregnant, our plans kind of changed. Things are kind of crazy in America, if you haven't already noticed. Then he decides he wants to buy a house. And that's where I'm going to conclude this last update, because I want to update you on everything, and there's honestly so much that's happened, and that was such a condensed version of what happened. But that was why I ended up deciding like, oh, I'm going to move to Costa Rica, because I felt like for the baby's first year, it would be better, safer, energetically more beautiful to raise a baby in Costa Rica for the first year. Yeah, I'd love to show you guys my house there. I'd love to show you guys more about like what happened when I got there, and like in detail and in depth of everything, of all the details. But that's the overall what the hell has been going on in my life. And then now I'm here in California for a month to have a baby shower with my family and friends, which I already had one other one with Sway's family. But yeah, guys, that's like just update of like my life and just like a really fast thing. So thank you guys for tuning in. I would love to take you on the rest of this journey of me transitioning into motherhood and just using all the tools that I've been using forever to implement into bringing life and being a portal to the higher realm. So honored to go through this transition with you. Ooh, gave me 2 goosebumps, but thank you guys so much, and stay weird.